and I surrender unto you. That is the way we have to do Vandanam to Krishna, right? And what happens by doing that, and who is the example for that? We'll go through the little bit of a background of that. Who is the example? So each of the Navavidha Bhakti, we have one exemplary devotee who has done Sarthakata or the Paripurnata with that just one limb of Bhakti. It may not be, it is not something that, okay, just by doing Vandanam, I will get Sadgati. It is not like that. All of us will have a mixture of everything, Shravanam, Kirtanam, all that we'll have. But there is one particular devotee who's done it very well. And we'll understand through that example how we can also do. It is not that we are copying from the devotee, but we are just trying to understand how to do it. Like for Pada Sevanam, we had our mother Lakshmi, and also Tulsi Devi is an exemplary example of Pada Sevanam, because they're always at the Pada of Krishna, right? So that is why they were examples. And Ambrish Maharaj is one of the devotees who has exemplified in all the 9, right? All the 9, he did it perfectly. But we don't have to do that. At least we do part by part, a little bit of Shravanam, Vandanam, little bit of Pada Sevanam. We can do little, and one day when we get our Sadgati, we'll know which one we are best at, or we are best at all, right? You are pleasing Krishna in all forms, right? So our Akrura is the exemplary example of Vandanam, right? What did he do, right? What did he do that, it was, what exactly did he do? We'll just go through a little bit of a background, and then we'll go through what prayers he did, and then we can real quick jump to the implementation of it. So Akrura actually prayed to Krishna when he was traveling to Vrindavan, right? So what happened is Akrura is actually a maternal uncle of Krishna, right? And he is brother of Kamsa. So he's one of the kings or the chief. He's not a king because Kamsa took over. He is one of the chief commander-in-chief of the Vrishni dynasty under.
Let's give a minute. There's an
right. What happened? The open show. Can you hear, Prabhu?
There was a brief pause, Mathaji, but we can hear you now.
Oh, sorry, Prabhu.
Okay.
So although he was a great devotee for Krishna, he couldn't show it openly because Kamsa did not like Krishna, right? Kamsa always hated Krishna. So Akrura was with his brother, but he was a great devotee of Krishna, right? So what happened? So what Kamsa plans is, Kamsa plans for a great festival in Mathura, and he sends Akrura to go get Krishna and Balaram to the festival because he's planned to kill them there, right? And Akrura knows about this. Knowing this, he feels very, very bad in the heart. How can I do this, to Krishna? And he's actually traveling from Mathura to Vrindavan to get Krishna. So what happens on the way is he's meditating on the Lord. When he is traveling in the chariot, he is meditating on the Lord. So there is a very, very big lesson for all of us. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, right, you have to meditate. The devotional service that you do to Krishna is very, very important. And how do we do devotional service? Through a guru, through the mercy of Krishna, we have to always think and meditate upon Krishna. So there is, what is the lesson for us here, right? See, it is, we may think we can just buy a ticket and go to Vrindavan. It is not that easy, actually. If you want to go as a pure devotee and you need to get the benefit or the benediction going there, we have to make sure that we have that desire in the heart. We are thinking of Krishna, we are meditating upon Krishna to go there. Otherwise, it is very difficult. We will just go there, we will just see a village, we will just see some cows and we'll come back. If you want to see true Krishna, it is said that you have to meditate upon the of the Lord, you have to think about the Lord, you have to see, look at the creation of the Lord, the Paramatma realization, all that you have to do. And that's what Akrura did. On the way, he was thinking about Krishna so much, Krishna and Balaram, because he knew they were the supreme personality of Godhead who have taken the form of a human and they have come here, right? And he also knew that, because he's coming as part of Kamsa's team, he didn't know how Krishna and Balaram would react. And he knew they were very powerful because they are supreme personality of Godhead. Will they accept me because I'm coming as part of Kamsa's team? That he had a lot in his mind. So he started praying on the way. It was a long journey. It says it was a long journey. He left home in the morning, and during sunset, almost during sunset, he actually reaches Vrindavan. Not even 1 second he gave up the thought of Krishna, meditating upon Krishna and glorifying Krishna in his mind, it says. And that is how we have to be. If we want to enter into Vrindavan, we have to start meditating upon Krishna and asking for his mercy. Like Krishna accepted Akrura, we want to ask Krishna to accept us, to invite us into his home, which is Vrindavan, right? So here what happens is during sunset, he reaches Vrindavan. He just touches the sand of Vrindavan. He immediately jumps out of his chariot. Why did he jump out of his chariot? It is said it is a mercy of Krishna that a devotee, a pure devotee, is the only one who can see his footprint in the sand. In the sand, because Akrura was a pure devotee of Krishna, he sees on the sand the footprint. We have actually discussed the footprint also, right? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, conch shell, disc, flag, everything he can see. And it is said many people go to Vrindavan and come back. And many people just go as if it is a regular place and come back. There is very few people who can actually see the reality of Vrindavan, and Akrura is one of them. And that happens only by mercy of Krishna. Without Krishna's mercy, we cannot see the footprints. And each of those footprints, right, it takes away an anartha in our heart. If you meditate upon each of those signs resemble something, right? And if you meditate upon that also, it will take away the anartha in your life. Then what happens? He is welcomed into the home. Krishna and Balaram consider him. He falls into their feet. As soon as he sees them, he falls into their feet. And Krishna actually says, Akrura, I know you are a devotee of mine, but you are in age, in all other aspects, you are greater than me in this material world. Why? Because he is already a commander-in-chief. He is uncle in age, in position, in wealth, everything. Akrura was higher than Krishna. And still, as soon as he saw him, he fell to his feet. He looked at his smile. It is said that Akrura just saw the smile, the silent smile of Krishna, and he just couldn't, the ecstasy, he couldn't take it. He just fell to Krishna and Balaram's feet. And somehow he convinces, and then Krishna invites Akrura to his house, and they give him very good upchar, right? They give him very good seat, they give him very good palatable food to eat. They take care of him very well. They give him all chandan, pulp, all that to make him comfortable, because he had a long journey. And then Akrura reveals the secret that Kamsa is planning to kill him, and that's why he is inviting him to the Mathura. He reveals that because he was very scared. Akrura was very scared to reveal that in the beginning, because he knows their personality of Godhead and he's coming from Kamsa's team. He didn't know what would happen to him. But Krishna, he's a Sarvantaryami. He knows what is in Akrura's heart, right? So he does accept him as a pure devotee, and he takes care of him as a guest. While going back, what happens is there is a big story. Actually, I'm not going through that, because our concentration here is on the Vandanam. So I'm concentrating only on the Vandanam. When Krishna and Balaram are leaving Vrindavan, right? All the Gopa Balakas and Gopis actually lie down chariot. There is a lot of crying by everybody. Nobody wants Krishna to leave. They're all in a very sad state, and there is a prayer also. They all start singing. It is very heart touching because Krishna is leaving, because there is Krishna and he's leaving Vrindavan. Somehow he leaves Vrindavan. We'll go to the next part of it. On their way, when they are going, Akrura stops at a bank of a river. I don't know which river it is. He stops at the bank of a river because he says he wants to do the daily devotional service, right? Achaman and everything, right? The river. He goes, Akrura gets off the chariot. Krishna and Balaram are still sitting in the chariot. He walks into the water and he is doing his regular devotional service. That is second example. First example is what? No matter what our position, condition is, to fall to the feet of Krishna, like our Akrura. Second was, if we want to enter into the God's family, if we want to enter into Vrindavan, we have to do law, tapasya and meditation on Krishna, even to touch the Vraja, right? Vrajraj, that mud, right? Even if you want to get the foot dust of that Vraja, you have to wait along. In fact, it is said that when he jumps out of the chariot, he puts a lot of that mud on his body. He rolls in that because he feels he's always lived with asuras in Kamsa's dynasty. All are asuras only. It is very difficult to get the foot dust of a devotee, let alone foot dust of Krishna. Foot dust of devotee also he didn't get. And in Braja, all the gopis, Nanda Baba, everybody are great devotees of Krishna, and Krishna and Srimati Radharani's foot dust only he was getting. So he was rolling. It is said the demigods came there to touch it and he never let them touch. He said, you always get it and I'm always with the asuras. This is my time to get it. He rolls. So that is the way we have to see when we enter into Vrindavan. The third point is, although he was coming with Krishna and Balaram, right, he didn't want to give up his daily devotional service, like our japa in our lives. The chanting, we cannot give up, whether my health is good, not good. If I have my head in it, I don't have my head in it, I don't feel like chanting, it doesn't matter. We have to chant. So that is what Akrura is teaching us, that he stops the chariot and he gets into the water. There is a very, very big prayer. Prabhupada actually gives it very beautifully in one of his articles that, Akrura starts praying from the time creation happened, how great Krishna is, right? How the water existence came, how the fire came into existence, how ether came into existence, how everything around us is made by Krishna, how our mind is Krishna, how our senses is Krishna. He goes on glorifying. There is, I think, few pages of prayers that Akrura actually says. While saying that prayer, he just looks down. When he looks down, he sees Vishnu's Vishnu and Adishesha, right? Inside the water, he sees that. But it is not actually Vishnu, it is Krishna who's traveling with him, is sleeping there, and Balaram has become the Anantashesh. He sees that image as he's praying. And at one moment, he is actually thinking, see, every 14 planetary system, it is said it is part of Krishna. Vishwarupa, right? The head is actually Brahmaloka. The navel part is the our planet Earth, like that. And his foot and leg is the down planetary system. That is how the Vishwarupa is given to the person who is an impersonalist. That means a person who does not believe that Krishna is two-armed Krishna. For them to believe in Krishna, it is given that way. Actually, Akrura is thinking of that, and when he looks in the water, he sees Krishna, not Vishnu. He actually sees Krishna on Anantashesh, which is Balaram, who's Balaram form of a bed, and Krishna is actually sleeping on his lap. He sees that. In a minute, that image just goes out of his heart, and he comes out of the water. When he comes out of the water, he looks at Krishna and Balaram, and he feels much more ecstasy. Prabhu, can you hear me? Okay, he feels much more ecstasy, because although he was seeing the different rupa inside the water, and the Vishwarupa he was contemplating on the Vishwarupa, Prabhupada writes he was able to accept the two-handed form of Krishna, right? And as soon as that ecstasy, he cannot take it anymore. He's so happy. He sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is very beautifully described how Krishna has a peacock feather and that yellow dhoti, and Balaram is in blue dhoti, and their body covered with pulp and all kinds of flowers and all kinds of jewelry, and that slight smile and the lotus petal like his eyes. There is so much of bright light in his eyes, right? And his foot is amazing, because there is tulsi smell and aghora smell coming from his foot. All that comes to his mind, and he is in great ecstasy, and he falls immediately to both of their feet. In that moment, he cannot talk. He is not able to talk, and he falls to their feet, showing his humility towards Krishna. That it two times he falls to the feet, right? One is when he saw them, and when he saw the foot dust, right? And the third time is when he actually came out of the river. He's contemplating, his entire mind is so much about Krishna, Krishna. Although he was trying to see Vishnu inside the water, he saw Krishna. That is how his intensity towards Krishna was, right? So here for Vandanam, the prostrate obeisances, we take Akrura is the greatest example, because he's not seen Krishna so closely. He's only heard about Krishna, but his mind, meditation, and his heart is filled with Krishna. And that shows how many times he falls obeisances. Although he's an elderly person in a great position, he recognized Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he fell to his feet. And that is the example for all of us. And through that, he achieved Sadgati. He achieved the highest level of goal. The greatest benediction he got he entered the spiritual world, it is said, just by falling to the feet of Krishna, right? He had not heard so much with the Asuras. When you're living, what can you hear of Krishna? They'll only talk about which demon to send to kill Krishna. He was hearing opposite of Shravanam. He didn't hear Shravanam, he heard opposite of Shravanam. But his heart was filled with Krishna, and just by falling obeisances to Krishna, he was able to get Sadgati. Second. Okay. So to reinforce and strengthen our bhakti, we need to pray. Then empowerment. What is that empowerment? We've discussed this many times, right? Like if there is a task which is too difficult for us, right? With prayers, it becomes easy, because we are giving the handle back to Krishna. But if we think we are going to solve it, we are going to make sure that Prabhu, you can't hear me?
No, we can hear you, Mathaji. Okay. So maybe Satyavati Mata's audio, and I believe we are able to hear you.
Okay, Prabhu. With prayers, right, it becomes easy. That's what even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Adi Leela says, that, with prayers, anything can be achieved. See, all of us eat food and everything for nourishment of the body, but who is nourishing our soul, right? Nourishment of the soul is also very important, which we miss most of the time. And that comes through bhakti or prayers. Prayers, it is very easy. There are two things that I want to cover here, right? Vandanam is also prostrate obeisances and just talking to Krishna. Just talking to Krishna, saying that this is how, whether you've just come back from office, or you've just come back and you just want to tell what happened in the day, as if you're telling it to your spouse and children. When you discuss it with Krishna, what are you doing? You're involving Krishna in your life. You're bringing Krishna in your life. It seems emotional, and what is this, but actually it is the truth, because Krishna wants to be involved in our lives. Actually, when I heard about this, right, I asked one question to the Mathaji who was giving this class. I asked, see, it is said that, we shouldn't trouble Krishna with our problems. We have to just let him sleep in our heart peacefully and not ask for things. And now you're saying involve Krishna. Isn't it contradicting? So that Mataji explained it to me very well. She said, no. You're not asking Krishna anything. You're just involving him in every bit of your life. And there is a lot of difference between asking and just telling Krishna what is going on in your life, right? And it brings about a lot of calmness and peace in your life, right? We can just live our life just like that. Get up in the morning, go to office or go to school, college, or just cook at home. Day after day, we don't have a plan for ourselves. But once we stand in front of Krishna and start talking to him, right, we start putting some thought about what life is and how I want to get rid of this material life, right? Today, what has happened is we are all so busy involved in our day-to-day activity that we forget what is the essence of life. And Japa also becomes mechanical after some time. Doing Mangalarati also becomes mechanical. Everything, it's like a robot, right? You just get up, okay, you have to do some Hare Krishna, milk is not here, Hare Krishna, water is not coming. This is how our japa is. So our japa is mechanical. Did you take your lunch box? Jai Radha Ma. This is how we are. This is how with faults we are, right? It all becomes or the other day I was listening to one of the lectures, and that Prabhu was saying there are so many people who read newspaper and do japa today. Right? Oh, somebody killed somebody, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, electricity cut, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that is the kind of life we are living today, right? We can't help it. That is the kind. But when you pray Krishna, you're actually looking at him. All your senses, when we start praying, right? It feels very, what is this? Slowly, what happens is you will start opening up your heart. Once you start opening up your heart, Krishna actually comes into your heart. The love for Krishna will increase. It is not mechanical anymore. He becomes a personal God to you. See, for many times you will think, right, Krishna is personal. But what happens is, because our life is mechanical and the way we do things is mechanical, Krishna becomes an photo or an idol in the puja room than a person in our life. That connection, that relationship will be built once we start praying to Krishna. Now, the other good thing which happens by praying to Krishna is the cleansing of the heart, because you are openly telling Krishna, forgive me, please help me, right? That humility grows, that aham bhav, right? That ego goes down. Why does that ego go down? Because you're telling Krishna, see, I have this problem in life. I don't know how to go about it, but I know you're there to support me. That means we are leaning on somebody else. A person who has a lot of ego cannot lean on somebody else, or cannot be forgiving, or cannot, he thinks he can do everything. So that ego is completely reduced. When we start praying, what happens is we are depending on somebody else. When we start depending on somebody else, then I know I am not capable of doing everything. When that manobhav comes in me, that I'm not that great that I can solve everything, I can do everything. When that comes to my mind, I automatically become humble. Then what happens is, all the other devotees and non-devotees, other people around me, I start treating them better. Because I myself am bowing down to somebody, then how can I be better than another person next to me? That feeling starts coming. So it's very difficult. Ego is very, very subtle. The last thing, there are 7 layers on this material earth, and the layer which tied us back into this earth is that ego. And that is the last thing to go. So it is very difficult. It is very subtle. People will have it, but they will not know it. And the only way to get rid of it is through prayers and surrendering unto Krishna. See, surrender is a very big word. We'll all keep thinking, how do I surrender to Krishna, right? How do I do it? Falling obeisance, right? Doing the Sashtanga Namaskar or praying to Krishna or telling him how difficult, what difficulty you're going through life will make you do that. When you talk to Krishna, say, hey,
Let's give a minute for Mathaji to be online. Their duties.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, sorry.
No, that's fine, Mathaji. None of us are in control of it, Mathaji. Except
That's
for
true. That's true. So we bring down everything, including doing the japa, doing Mangalarti, everything we bring down to our level, right? So showing that gratitude to Krishna, prayer will bring you out of that mechanical doing of things, right? It will bring you out and you will start treating Krishna as a person. So that gratitude is very important. Showing that gratitude, what happens is it shakes up your bhakti and makes you feel that you are alive in bhakti. And it makes you feel real. It takes you out of that depressing mood. Sometimes it is very depressing, right? Oh, I have to get up in the morning. Oh, I have to do japa. See, over a time, what happens is it becomes difficult even to do bhakti for us, right? So that being grateful to Krishna, saying that thank you for giving me all these things that I have. Thank you for my family. Thank you that I'm able to offer you flowers today. That will make you happy. Even though you're in a very, very bad mood, just stand in front of Krishna and start talking to him. It will make you happy, right? It is said that prayer is like that garnishing at the end of cooking, you do tadka, right? Or that garnishing. How will the food become tasty? Only by that garnishing and tadka, right? Without the ghee tadka, your food won't be good. So that is what prayers are, right? And many of our old habits, like, going back to sleep or eating outside or not even chanting, all the bad habits before we came to bhakti will come back if you don't surrender unto Krishna and daily pray to Krishna, right? To take care of that. This is like giving a boost. Our Guru Maharaj, whoever it is, Diksha Guru or your initiation spiritual Guru, gave you the seed of bhakti. That seed of bhakti has to grow. How is it going to grow? Only by watering it. And prayers is one of the forms. It is true, devotees. Someday when you're not feeling like doing bhakti, just stand in front of Krishna and start talking to him. You'll feel the difference. You'll feel a lot of difference. Then what happens is, by the end of your prayers, that love for Krishna is actually manifesting in your heart. You will start feeling Krishna, the love for Krishna in your heart, because he becomes a personal person whom you can depend. It is like your spouse or like your brother. For women, it is like a spouse or a brother or a son, even a son, right? Because the rasa is coming out. For men, it is like, it's as if your father, whatever difficulty is there, I can talk to him openly. And there is no bad intention. When you talk to Krishna, he's not thinking about himself. He's actually thinking about us. And whatever Krishna does is for our own good. I'll end this with one story, and then we'll go to the next slide where I have how we can do prayers, right? So what happened is, there is this executive director in Tirupati. This was in 1972, this occurred. He always used to go to temple one day in a week. Although he was executive president of that temple, he couldn't go every day because of lot of work and everything. On a Wednesday or Thursday, his routine was every Thursday at 4 o'clock, he will leave. He used to be down. Tirupati is on the top, right? He used down office. He used to take his car, go up, do the darshan, stay overnight in a bungalow there, and then do the morning darshan also, and then come back to work. One day what happened, and after 7:30 nobody drives, because it is a very risky area. In those days in 1972 it was even more risky to drive there, so nobody drives there. So what he did was, one day he got delayed. From 4 it became 5, 5 it became 6, and the driver of the car came and said, sir, if you're not going to the temple, I will go home today. And his wife also said, what is wrong with you? You're supposed to be in the temple, why are you not going? Then he said, oh, all my work held me up. I thought this is the last thing I will go, and I couldn't go. So he closed all his files, everything. He got into the car, and they started driving at around 6 o'clock. When they were driving, right, midway, there was one person putting his hand out and waving. And this person asked the driver to stop the car. And that person came and said, see, I have my son and my would-be daughter-in-law, my wife, everybody, right? We want to go take the darshan, because my son and my would-be daughter-in-law, tomorrow or day after tomorrow is their marriage. As soon as the marriage got fixed, I wanted to come bring them to darshan of Tirupati, Srinivas darshan. I wanted to get the blessing of Srinivas, because all my life I've prayed to Srinivas. I always pray to him. Any good thing in the family, I want to take my kids there, and whatever happens, I want to. And my car is broken. And I took a ticket for the darshan, and the ticket is also invalid because I couldn't reach there on time. And I'm not getting any car or bus or anything. I'm stuck here. Can you please take me? And he didn't know that this person in the car is the executive president of that temple. So that person says, okay, somehow we'll squeeze everybody in the same car. They squeezed everybody, and then he took him up. Entire way up, it took them some time to go through that hill. The Tirumala hill is very difficult, right? They have to go through the hill and go there. Entire way, this person was going on saying, my Srinivas, he gave up on me. See what happened to me. I had trusted him so much. In tears, he's going on crying, and he's saying, Srinivas is doing this to me. Why he is doing this to me? He is actually cribbing over Krishna, our Srinivas ji. This president doesn't say anything. He will take him up, and then he will tell the guards, hey, all these people I know, give them VIP passes. Don't make them stand in the line. Take them directly inside, right? Give them the darshan. Then put them in the bungalow tonight, and then repair their car also. And then if the car is not repaired, you drop them in my car to Mysore. They are from Mysore, take them to Mysore, he says. This person is astonished, right? He was cribbing all the way that Tirumala did this to him, right? He's astonished, but he's in a hurry to get his children married in that muhurtam. So he'll finish everything, he will go back, he'll get the children also married. After 2 weeks, he will send a letter to this president. He says, see, cribbing about my Tirumala so much, right? Even if everything would have worked properly, with that ticket, that day, the darshan was so difficult because there were a lot of people, right? Even if his ticket was valid and he got into the temple on time, he couldn't have got the darshan that day. Because in Tirumala, once you get in, right, you can't come out. You're stuck. For days together also, you're stuck, right? He says, Tirumala, if I'd gone in with my own ticket, I would never get the darshan. I would never get my children married, my son married. Krishna actually showed mercy on me, and that's why he broke my car. So he could come and help me, and I could get VIP access to him, and I could go back and get my son also married in the same muhurtam, in the same chowtri, right? And I was cribbing about Krishna. That is how our prayers are sometimes, right? We think our prayers are not getting answered. Every day I'm praying for a BMW, but Krishna is not giving me BMW, right? Because Krishna has some other plan. Maybe he'll give you an helicopter, or he'll give you a jet. He has better plan for you. We don't know that, right? Or maybe if you get that car, because you have a big, nice car, you'll meet with an accident. And Krishna is trying to avoid that for you, right? If your car is bad, you have to go slow. Then you will not get an accident. But if you have a BMW car, put the leg on the thing, it is 60. Starting with 60 it is, right? So we have to know that our prayers are always answered. We don't know that our prayers are getting answered, right? Next, last slide that I have is, how do we do prayers, right? We are so much in this material world, like an autism kid, a person in mental hospital. Sometimes you have to teach them how to hold the spoon and eat also. Our state is like that. We don't know how to pray to Krishna also, right? We don't know how to talk to Krishna. Krishna knows all languages, dear devotees. If you're comfortable with your mother tongue, you can talk in your mother tongue only to Krishna. Krishna doesn't mind, right? So there is manasik, oneness from manasik, that you do prayer to Krishna. Like in Godavari, there is another beautiful pastime. There's a sage in who used to sit in the banks of Godavari and pray to Krishna every day. And once he had heard another Prabhuji give a session like this, and he said, Manasik also you can offer prayer to Krishna, you can offer a lot of gifts to Krishna, this person would have said. So what he does, every day he will sit there, and Manasik, he's very poor. So he will think, okay, I'm getting different flowers today. I'm getting different jewelry for Krishna. I'm going to put that. I'm going to do a lot of good items, like, all the dry fruits and everything. I'm going to give it to Krishna. Ghee for Krishna. All he will be doing. Every day he does that. And he will prepare nice boga for Krishna. And one day he would have prepared a nice kheer or paisam for Krishna. When he is preparing that paisam, right, he prepares every day and he offers it. That day he will think, oh, maybe it is too hot for Krishna. He will put his finger to check if it is hot. It actually burns his finger. See, he is actually doing manasik puja to Krishna. He gets out of his meditation, his finger is really burnt, right? Although manasikly he is offering, his finger gets burnt. That is how much real it is. Even when you are just driving and you're just thinking of Krishna's form when you're driving, right? It is true. We see, it is very difficult unless you experience it. Whatever we say here, right, and you feel, how was that possible? Our mind is a culprit. It will say, hey, what Mathaji is saying is all just stories or something. It will not happen, but it is actually true. It happens. We'll think it is our mental concoction that we are seeing Krishna. Our mind is actually completely in the foot. It is at the foot of Krishna sometimes. We have to acknowledge it, and we have to do more and more of it. So first is mind. Then next is vacha. That means through words you do the prayer to Krishna. How do I do from the words? I already told you, through talking to Krishna in your mother tongue only you can talk, or any other. Even that, if I'm not able to do, there are a lot of prayers in Bhagavatam. Has prayers from Arjuna, prayers from Kunti Devi, prayers from our Bhishma Dev, Bhishma Suti, right? Canto 8 has Gajendra Moksha. Canto 10 has Gopi Geet. Then Canto 6 has Vritrasura's Indra's prayers. You don't have to by heart it, or you can just put it on YouTube or somewhere in the morning. You can just listen to those prayers and contemplate on those words, right? That is another form of right. When you do that prayer, you're actually reminding Krishna of his pure devotee, it is said. Reminding Krishna of his pure devotee will make him happy. It will please Krishna. Then he will be pleased. So, because we are like people, we don't know how to take the spoon and Krishna, right? We don't know how to pray to Krishna also today. So we can borrow from other pure devotees or some bhajans. Narottama Das Thakur has written a lot of kirtans which are total prayers only. It is total prayers. You can just read it. You don't have to sing it also. You read that and you read the translation. That is enough. Take one song per week. Just take one song randomly. This is your heart, and offer it to Krishna. The third is from the body, right? Manmana Baba Mad Bhakto. Madhyaji mama namaskaru. Namaskaru. That's what Krishna is saying. If you can't do anything, chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita is devotional service. Krishna says finally, you can't do anything. You can't do japa. You can't do anything. Just fall. Just offer yourself to me as Dandavat. Right? Just offering that will give us a lot of sukruti. And it said Raghunath Goswami used to do 1,000 namaskaras to Krishna. That is just to Krishna. And other devotees, when he sees other devotees, he used to do that also. That is also called one of the limbs of bhakti itself. And how do we pray, right? First, we thank Krishna. Like our Kunti Devi and Bhishma Dev, what did they do? Kunti actually remembered each instance in her prayer. Krishna, my children were about to die in that wax palace. You saved them. I lost my husband at a very young age. You saved me. My children were always in trouble. Bhima was almost killed by eating poison. You saved. So every time she has a calamity, she's thinking of Krishna. She is not talking more of the calamity. She's actually saying, Krishna, you were there to save me. Krishna, you were there to save me. And at the end of the prayer, what does she say? I don't want my life to be without any calamities. I want calamity after calamity. Because when I have a calamity, you are standing next to me holding my hand. And I want that, she says, right? Bhishma Dev also prays. Bhishma Dev says, oh, in that Kurukshetra, when I saw you, Krishna, you were so beautiful. Thank you for being there. Kurukshetra when I was about to die. You came and gave me darshan so that I could leave my body looking at you. Without that, how could how could my heart be at peace, right? Thank you for coming when I was about to die, he says. Then the other kind of prayer is expressing humility, right? Saying sorry after so many janmas, you've taken care of me for janma, and I'm still not thinking of you. I'm still not able to, surrender unto you. Saying that openly, sometimes just mentally I will tell, I don't have to know. You have to openly say it. Then only you are affirming, you will feel it. If you say, oh, Krishna is in my heart, I don't want to say it, it would not happen. You have to openly say it, saying, oh Krishna, Dainya Bodhika, it is called. That means putting yourself in front of Krishna. When you do that, right, you become closer to Krishna. Krishna likes that. Your humbleness is what Krishna, right? In normal circumstances, we will not be humble. None of us will be humble, right? If something happens to us, situations come and hit on our head only, we will become humble. So to say that to Krishna, I'm humbled in this situation. I'm nothing and I'm forgetting you and I'm getting indulged in material existence. Please help me, right? That is Dainya Bodhika. That means putting yourself down. And then glorification of Krishna, the 64 qualities that we've been discussing in the class, right? Pick up one of the qualities and contemplate on it. Remember the past times, right? Either it was how beautiful Krishna is or how little things make Krishna happy. Giving him one patra palam toyam, right? Just one fruit, one leaf, one little water makes Krishna happy with that heart if you give. Lalasa, that means after glorifying and saying sorry and thank you and everything, then you can ask for your heart's desire. It's material or whether it is spiritual. So what happens is all of us, when we came into bhakti, all of us had material desires. It is okay to ask material desires also to Krishna. If you ask any other demigod, they will only give you material benediction. But if you ask Krishna, he will grant it in such a way you will not have material desire in the future, but you'll have desire for liberation. He makes sure that he you such a benediction for the material ask that you had that you don't want it anymore. He will change your heart in such a way, but he will fulfill it, but he will fulfill it in a different way that you will feel, okay, this is not what I wanted. I want Krishna, you will say. So that is why even if you have material desires, even in chapter 2 and 3 of Canto 2, right? There is chapters together explaining this, that even if you have material desires, you can go back to Krishna. And Krishna always has a better plan for us than what we think. And The last one is my favorite, which says, prayer means not everything is going great in life, right? Don't have any problems. You have all your BMW cars lined up, all the wealth, all the happiness in the world. No, it is not that. Prayer means Krishna is with you. That confidence will come in your life. You will not get scared of situations. You will be able to, emotionally, you will be able to overcome situations. That is what prayers do to all of this. So the implementation I would ask is, all of you make it a point after doing japa, 2 minutes in front of Krishna. Do a dandavat, 2 minutes in front of Krishna, saying, Krishna, this is how my day is today. I have a problem with this. You kindly help me. You kindly take control of my life. I have no way. I don't understand how I can get through today, right?
Let's give a minute for Mathaji to rejoin, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I
Yeah.
don't know how much you heard. I just wrapped up.
Yes, Mother. Last 1 minute, Mathaji, actually.
Last one. Okay.
Yes.
So when we are in bad situations, right, we can't think of Krishna immediately. It will never come to us. And doing bhakti for a long time, we are contemplating on Krishna. So in the beginning of the day, be my director today. You be these situations today, right? Because when situations and
Yeah, looks like we have the glitch again. Yes, Mathaji.
sorry, Prabhu, Krishna is not letting me talk today for some reason. The only thing you have to do is bring Krishna in the beginning of the day when you remember him, right? Because when situations encounter, our ego is so strong that I want to solve everything by myself. I don't even want to tell anybody. I want to be the leader and tell Krishna, I may forget you, Krishna, throughout the day, but you don't forget me. You hold my hand. Right? He wants me to repeat it over and over again.
Yes, so that we that's the takeaway for us actually.
Yeah. So I may forget Krishna, but you don't forget me. I want you to remember me. I'm 100% sure, Krishna, I'm going to forget you, but you don't forget. 2 minutes, it takes only 2 minutes, 1 minute to talk, 1 minute for Dandavat, right? If we start practicing that, slowly we will build that relationship. Then all our bhakti, all the other things fall in place because we have a relationship with a personal God. It is not just a photo, it is not mechanical, right? It doesn't become mechanical. You'll feel like, oh, he's there, he's there. Even while leaving the house, right? Just look back and say, Krishna, today I'm just going up. I think before we used to do that, when we leave the house, we used to tell all the elders of the house, right? Krishna is the greatest elder in the family. So we have to tell him before leaving. So we start practicing that, our bhakti will change. The way we do bhakti will change. Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'm so sorry. It took 8:30. It became 8:40 already.